you can. Am I doing okay?
You're doing great.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you'd like that. Okay, up. You guys ready? Come on. Up. I got a great buddy.
You're a Norse god.
Come on, Odin. Or Oogway, or whatever the hell your name is.
I lost my friend in my head, confused and thinking of death, abused and misused by my cruel and numbed up brain. I'm falling down and there's no end. My head, I lie awake inside my bed. My heart is pounding right through my chest. I just can't seem to find an end. Mayday, 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 mayday. I lost my friend in my head.
Go again. Roll camera. And 3, 2, 1, action.
A lot of metaphorical use in this trilogy. That's why it's called Triptych, dust, blood, and water. I see it as a cycle. Dust, blood, and water is a cycle, dust to dust.
Well, the first one was called Dust, and I always think of that one as that moment when they tell you, Mrs. Condon, you have cancer, we're gonna have to take off some of your breasts and do all these things. And then blood is that battle.
Blood being both good and bad, it's a neutral thing that I see as a nurse in oncology, and it's also, I chose elements that I see at work. So dust being flesh, blood is something we either, give to patients every day or draw from them every day.
This is what this film is doing. It's the middle ground. It's a thing we're most afraid of. Yes, we're afraid of starting something new. Yes, we're afraid of things ending. But I think what we're really most afraid of is being stuck in the middle. It's true. It's the journey through it. It's not just like you have a disease and then you die or you survive or something like that. It's the journey. It's the whole part of it. And when you find when you're diagnosed or you know someone who's been diagnosed, you're going on a journey. It's a trip. It's a triptych. Okay, sorry. But what Jen is trying to prove with the series is that there's other ways, to go through the story. There's other ways that people deal with it. We're all different and we all take things differently.
I am actually embodying blood as a character, so I feel that blood is a lot like the rest of nature in being a very neutral force. And I am a neutral character in this. I am neither dark nor light, good nor evil, and so it is the carrier of all things. It is life-giving. It is also associated with death and destruction. So to me, it represents that larger idea of nature being just there. It's neither good nor evil, and we can't place human qualities on it.
Ah, this is a female Harris hawk. She is about 7 years old. We also have a raven with us. I know the raven will be flying off of Jennifer's fist. Oh, you can hear Drake over there.
To me, birds and flight symbolize a certain amount of freedom and release, or a certain message, an omen, as it were. So, again, I think the medium will speak for itself, and we'll have our interpretations as an audience to see how that affects us.
This soundtrack in general, I think it kind of appeals to a wide range of not only listeners, but I think emotionally within people, because it sort of follows the roller coaster of emotions that someone might go through. The the metal's kind of more rage, intense rage that you might feel. Plus the melodic, lighter parts are a little bit more uplifting.
One thing I find really personally satisfying about this project is that I've really challenged every single person involved.
Working with Jenna is really fun. It's really great because she has these incredible visions that I can't see. I do not see what she sees. And it's really interesting for me as her choreographic support to be able to help those visions come out, because as we're working together, I see them. As we're starting to come together, I start to see them, I start to see the threads.
This next scene is this crazy lock combination that Kendra has made up. Bless her heart and curse her heart for it. It's very challenging.
To see the film and to see the final production, she just has this fucking vision that's so clear and so concise that I'm like,
that's really what this project is. It's Jen's pushing us out of our comfort zones and out of our box a little bit. A lot of strangers and friends coming together to create. It's really cool.
I totally support Jen and her vision and her artistry, and I think it's a huge undertaking what she's doing, and I'm super proud of her, and I want to support her and her vision.
It's such an important subject matter that affects so many people around the world that, you know, I feel privileged to have been a part of it and to have been able to dedicate my time and efforts to something that has such a great message to it.
I think it's just really, really awesome that people are willing to do this voluntarily. And when you look around, there's a lot of people. There's not like 10 or like a few people that are doing this. And I think the fact that people are willing to do this voluntarily and they're really, really involved, and after they're put in, it's just amazing.
I have had a number of different family members that have passed away from cancer, and I myself was diagnosed with B-cell lymphoma in July of last year. Through the process of going through chemotherapy and through the process that I'm still working through is how I met Jen. I am also a professional bass player, have been for a number of years. She asked me to come in and play bass on the project, and I was more than honored.
Well, I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer in 2010. And Jen was my oncology nurse. She was one of my nurses who administered treatment. And so she's just not an ordinary person. Anything she sets her mind to do, she does. And I enjoy being a part of her filmmaking experience and seeing her grow as a filmmaker. And the fact that this project is going to help cancer patients also it's personal.
I think this project and us working together on this project is a testament to her mission to helping people who are dealing with it. And so, though it doesn't affect my life directly yet, I've known people who have survived it, and I know Jen who deals with it, and that's how I can contribute to that effort, is by doing this film. I'm looking forward to getting the shots. We have a lot of shots. Just so many shots. There's just so many shots, and I'm looking forward to getting them in the can. Yes, that's the goal.
Making the storyboards for Blood was definitely a challenge because I have a full-time job, and the deadline for the project when I first heard about it was basically 1 week. Even days that I was frustrated about it because I wanted to get it done, I just kind of hunkered down and found something to really enjoy with each frame that I created. And I think that's why they came out so well. And I'm just really happy that the directors and producers have valued it so much, and it's been such a help in producing like the shots, the art direction for the film. So it's a huge honor.
I am part of this project because I want to help Jen's vision become real. I am playing the Angel of Life, and I have these amazing wings that Rose Hardin, who is one of the amazing designers on set, she built these gorgeous wings that operate as wings, but also have these feather fans on the ends of them. And so my job is to embody this character with these wings as realistically as possible. And so I'll be working with a prop, which is always a challenge.
I am one of 2 lead roles in the film, and I am the Angel of Death. So I'm kind of enticing the main character to come to the dark side, so to speak. Blood is kind of it's what is kind of pumping through our body and kind of keeps us alive. And so I think it's kind of this heart pumping lifeline. And so I would say that that's what blood kind of symbolizes to me, that kind of, even though I'm the angel of death, it's, you know, the opposite of that, which the film is about, this struggle between life and death.
Using art to abstract something as devastating as cancer allows people the opportunity to talk about it more. And I feel like, for me personally, a lot of that, the elements of darkness and lightness are really just a way for human beings to come to terms with what death means to them and give it a face, so that, because humans need to, I feel like, personify things to make sense of them, and just finding a way to explain death, really.
Daily, I see patients, cancer patients, people with cancer, all walks of life, go through, you know, probably one of the craziest battles anyone could ever go through, which is facing death in the face. And I've seen so much courage, and I've seen so much positive things and negative things, but mostly positive things come out of it, and it changes my perspective on life in the sense that every day is precious.
I have appendix before, like surgery. So that small thing I'm so afraid of. If I have a cancer, like I don't know what should I do.
My partner Ian, who is actually doing hair for this shoot, his father passed away about 5 years ago from prostate cancer and colon cancer while he was transitioning genders. So it was kind of a lot all at once. But I'm really here because of him, because of all the stuff that he went through with his dad. And I was really with him like maybe the last 4 years of his life. You know, so just seeing the really rough part of it, it's really all for him.
My father passed away from cancer, so it's very close to my heart. So it's really meaningful to me that Jennifer's taking on this idea. And it's really touching because his name will be represented in this film, so it's really bittersweet to me.
Cancer has affected my life through my godsister, who has had her leg amputated a number of times and gone through chemo a number of times and has been all right, luckily. And she's an inspiration to just keep growing and keep an adventure and do things that maybe she can't for whatever reason of her disabilities now. But she's a strong person, and that's what inspires me.
A couple of years back, one of my older brothers got a really nasty form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and passed away. And it was one of these particularly under-researched forms of cancer, and so it was really, really aggressive, and he caught it and passed away within about a year. So that one was, you know, that was pretty personal.
My husband is a cancer survivor, and he's been cancer-free for 12 years, and my grandmother died of cancer, and I'm actually wearing her robe today backstage, which feels really wonderful. I know that the people in my life who have gone through cancer feel that they're a part of a club or a sisterhood or a brotherhood, that it can really only be shared with people who know that experience.
I have a genetic disorder that shows up actually in test as cancer. My sister had it, I have it, and we end up going and getting portions of our breast taken out. I've had portions, an entire section of my intestine taken out, and it comes back, and unfortunately it's benign, or fortunately it's benign, but it hasn't been for most of my family. Most of my family, it has been, you know, where you get that dreadful notice, oh my gosh, you've got cancer, you know, figure out where you're going to go for hospice, say goodbye to your children. So that, having been in that seat where they say, Mrs. Condon, you have 6 months to live, and sitting in that seat, it's really hard to explain. I'm so thankful that I didn't stay in that seat long, but there are people that get that notice and they have no reprieve. And they've got to go through the blood part of it where they're going to battle. And it is a battle. You got to be a trooper. That is some nasty stuff.
I haven't personally had a lot of tragedies related to cancer in my close circle. I've been very lucky, but it is something that affects everyone. Everyone knows someone or has a friend if they're not personally affected.
My closest roommate has a cancer. She's still fighting with it. My boyfriend, both parents died by cancer recently. And then a few days ago, I've been rehearsing this for this film. And then my sister texted me from Korea. Mom is sick and she's gonna go to the hospital soon, and then you better text me, or you better text her or to call her. So I called her, what's happening, what's going on? And she said, oh, I found cancer, so I'm gonna go get cancer surgery. Just a few days ago it happened.
Starting with, I was about 8 or 9, and my 12-year-old cousin developed bone cancer, and they had to replace the bones in his legs with titanium rods. And I think that was the first time that it really, really adversely affected my life. And then, just over the years, realizing just how prevalent it's become and how many people's lives it's affected.
I had an incredible musician in the community. She was a canoe player, and she found out she had lung cancer. She never smoked in her entire life, and it took her in 4 months. That was crazy. And one of my dad's best friends died of brain cancer, and that was so fucked up. I still remember him watching TV and talking about all the double vision from the brain tumors he had, and I was 8.
There's a lot of cancer in my family, so actually I have quite a lot of experience with that. My journey with dance and music and art has always been intertwined with cancer. My mother had breast cancer when I was very young. She's a survivor. When I first started belly dancing, that's when my brother had received his 3rd diagnosis, and 9 months later he passed away. Last year, my cousin, who had moved from Austin to Montana to help care for my brother, also received diagnosis with cancer, and he passed away within a year. For me, there is no separation between dance and music and art and cancer, and all of these things are completely intertwined for me. So to see this project come alive with all these different aspects, it's very beautiful and it's very natural. It's a way to express life and death and how this cycle is complete.
Blood to me represents something that runs in all of us. It has no bias, it has no pre-notions of what we are.
We got different kinds of colors, but we have the same color of the blood.
This interesting common thread that we have that pulls us all together is something that we, like death, rarely think about.
And knowing that this disease, it doesn't pick and choose, it doesn't discriminate, it hits everybody. So to raise that awareness, to make sure that a mother, a father, a brother, a little sister, a child doesn't have to live and die for no reason is what I'm hoping to achieve from this.
One big family, the humankind is one big family.
If you'd like to know more about this project, you can hashtag Triptych Journey Through Cancer. There's also a Facebook page, same title. We also have a GoFundMe, which is Triptych Journey Through Cancer.
My name is Maud and I'm from Thailand and strictly come here.